I'm not showing this to brag, but I'm showing you this to tell you that I know what I'm doing. Okay. This is my back office. I just took this screenshot. These are my personal enrollments. 50 at standby, 22 at coach, 4 at business, 85 at first class. That is 161 people that I personally enrolled. Okay. I'm going to show you right now the things that are very simple that you need to take notes on, that I'm going to train you on so that you can pop some of these numbers. Think about this. What if you just stayed on my heels? I would love it if you passed me. Have at it. You're my hero. If you passed me, great. But what if you just did 50% of what I did, or 20%, or even 10%? I'm going to recruit. I'll have 200 personals by Vegas. Promise. I'll have 200 personals by Vegas. If you just do 20%, 10%, 20% of that, that's 40 personals that you would have. I'm going to show you exactly what I do, why I do it, and how I do it. Okay. So we're going to start right now with this. One of the big things that people have a problem with, especially the majority of you probably have jobs or have had jobs, that you think that if you do some work, you get paid on it immediately, right? That kind of thing. You have to start thinking a little different in networking, because it's not what you do, it's what you start. Okay. And this is important. Recruiting is a process. It's not an event. Recruiting is a process. It is not an event. The other thing is, even though I know a lot, I still am only a very good messenger. I never, ever make myself the message. One of the biggest issues I see, and it always cracks me up, is I can always tell when people are going to fall into the rut of being a genius, is I've learned to stay as dumb as possible, but do the right things that I know work. Hear me correctly. I stay as dumb as possible, and I do the things that I know work. You know what makes me, why I don't need to know everything? It cracks me up. People always ask me questions and I say, I don't know. And it stuns them that they think that I'm going to learn some of these things. I only learn the things and become good at the things that I know are income generating activities. Being the messenger, not knowing everything will help. Okay. Boom. If you didn't understand this one, here's my secret formula. Say less to more people. I did a 3-way with a lady a couple days ago. I don't know if she's in on this or on this, but this one's I told her I'm going to steal it from her because I never heard it said, but she said, because we were talking and, she asked me a couple of my processes. She's in sales and so on. And I said, yeah, say less to more people. And she goes, look, it's not magic. It's math. It's not magic. It's math. Please write that down. I've learned to say less to more people. I just make a lot of noise out there. Like you see posts I make. A lot of the posts I make don't even really have any. I'm not trying to close everybody on everything. I'm just making noise. I'm saying less to more people. Okay. I keep it simple. I keep it extremely simple. And I'm going to show you exactly what I say and what tools I use to recruit. Okay. So look at this page again. Recruiting is a process, not an event. You learn to be the messenger, not the message. If you say less to more people, you'll have more fun and you'll keep it simple. And here's some very good tips for you. People don't care about you or your problems, so don't bring them up. They only want solutions to theirs. This is a very important page if you write these things down or screenshot it. I only show somebody a tool that answers their concern or their problem. I only talk to people about what they want to talk about. People are always only going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. I don't convince anybody. I don't have closing lines, nothing. Okay. They only want solutions to their problems. Okay. How do people make decisions during anything that I'm doing? I've learned that, and these are statistics from real, this isn't me making this up. These are actual real psychologists and real numbers that have come across from years and years and years of people tracking this. How people actually make decisions. Only 10% of it has anything to do with speaker credibility. You know why I don't talk about myself? Because no one cares. You know why I don't say, unless they bring up something that they don't care. Logically, too many of you are taking the time to try to educate people on how it cracks me up when I get people that join that are in the travel industry. Okay. And I'm not belittling you, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I understand that you have a deep understanding of the travel industry at its highest level. We're not travel agents, just so you guys know. I'm not a travel agent. I'm a traffic cop. You should learn to be a traffic cop. You'll have a lot more fun. You point people to stuff. I'm just a good pointer. I just point people to stuff. And you know what the last thing is? Emotional. I do it with enthusiasm. Because if you do it with enthusiasm, it gets people excited. People make decisions on emotion and experience. And what I mean, I don't mean credibility experience. I mean, how much fun did they have going through a process? Do you know why Liz Pivito is doing very well on all of her Facebooks and her Facebook Lives? Because she's having fun with it. She's being goofy. She's not being so serious that it seems like a job. I try not to. I have fun with mine. I show graphics and stuff like that. Don't get hung up in this other stuff. All right, it's game time, people. It's game time. You know what we're going to do? We're going to play baseball. We are going to play boomerang baseball, and I'm going to show you how I recruit. Okay? I'm going to give you the details. And yes, I had to go make these graphics this morning, so I did it anyhow. We have a prospect. I don't care if it's man, woman, or anything. My objective is to get some hits, get people on base. It's all you have to consider. Okay? All you're doing is trying to get somebody around the bases so that you can score runs. When I was first in networking, and I made some really, really big money, it was my first company I ever made 7 figures in. And I was at a leadership event. And during that time, when I was there, I thought, you know what? We were all at this huge dinner. It was a great big party and so on. And there was probably about 150, 200 people because the company had been a few years old and people were really rocking it. And I went around and I said, you know what? I've got some of the best networkers in the world in this room. I'm not just going to, sit around and be stupid. I'm going to actually make something out of it. So I went and I was like, what can I get from these people? Like, what can I learn? And I came up with this thing. I was like, I wanted to see what it was I asked everybody one question. I had a little notepad with me, by the way. And I walked around the room and I would run into the people that I knew had been recognized as top people in the company. And I said, hey, what's the number one, I would say like, hey, Tom, what's the number one thing you would attribute to your success? And I shut up and I stood there and I had my pen and paper. And they'd look at me and I'd maybe have to repeat it. What's the number one thing you'd attribute to your success? And the first thing that they said out of their mouths, I would write down. Here's what you have to understand. I polled during about a 2-hour period, about 60 some people. And the most important takeaway that I got from it was that that everybody, the only thing that mattered the most was consistency. Wasn't everybody in some way, shape, or form would elaborate on what they said, but in most cases, it had to do with consistency. But here's where baseball comes in. I'm walking on the bus, I think I was actually walking on the bus, and I'd already had this question, and I saw the number one guy in the company walk by me, and I yelled out his name, and he stopped, and I said, hey, what's the number one thing you would attribute to your success? He looked right at me, didn't miss a beat, kept on walking, and said, oh, that's easy. I swing the bat as many times as I have to. Occasionally I get a hit. Every once in a while I hit one out of the park. And he walked onto the bus and I didn't talk to him since. That was pure gold. Because I've learned that, and if you listen to Jim Rohn, his CD, How to Build a Network Marketing Business, he covers all this stuff, right? I think it's track 6, okay? But here's what I do. I need to introduce somebody to something. In my opinion, I think the sizzle call works very well. And you have to remember this, is I'm not trying to close everybody with everything. I know by using this formula where somebody is in my recruiting process. The reason I use a sizzle call is this. Every tool you see me introduce and show you is people are only going to ask themselves basically 2 questions if they're going to join. Is it worth joining? And can I do it? If you can't, if you don't think you're presenting in a simple fashion that answers those two questions, you've complicated it. Okay. So I use a sizzle call. My sizzle call you can use that exact same number. It's generic. They can't leave messages or anything. I get reports every day, and 90% of the people that listen to that call listen to the entire thing. You know, the importance of that is, you know why I have them listen to a sizzle call? Because now they're more interested and will typically listen to the next thing, which is the I Decide presentation. I absolutely use the I Decide presentation. Do you know why? Has nothing to do with the fact if I think they can, if it's going to close them. I get people to go, well, I sent somebody an I Decide and they didn't join. Who cares? That's not the point. The point is they experience the process of recruiting. They experience the process of what's going to happen. People are only going to join you again because they think they can do what you just did. Do you know why it's easy for me to recruit so many people? Is because everybody looks at my stuff and goes, well, heck, I could send somebody a sizzle call. I could send somebody an I Decide. I had a question. Oh, great question. You know what? That's covered on record-breaking growth. Now that you had a question watching I Decide, I'm sure you've got some more information. Record-breaking growth is just a website that's got a bunch of videos on it. You know why it has a bunch of videos on it? Because it's different strokes for different folks, and I have no idea what somebody's really interested in. So I send them another tool. Okay? Guess what? What happens when they're there? I'm typically, now here's the cool part. The entire time, I am not in the equation. Look where were we, right? Sizzle call was a tool. I Decide's a tool. Website's a tool. I got somebody to see 3-4 things real quick. Do you know how many people I can put on base quickly because I'm using tools to do the heavy lifting? Then they typically have a few more questions. Great. Let's do a 3-way or Zoom. I mean, sometimes I'll put Tommy Johnson on and I'll say, hey, this is Tommy Johnson. He's awesome. He's the best person I've seen in the company so far. I put Tommy on, I mute my phone and I start watching stuff on Facebook or prospecting more people. I'm not even paying attention half the time. Unless it's a board. Obviously, if it's a Zoom, I'm paying attention. But you know what a Zoom is for? In my opinion, in a 3-way, is just to build a relationship. A Zoom is just to build a relationship. And guess what? If you do those steps simply, they join. Do you know how I launch somebody? myreptraining.com/start. myreptraining.com/start. That's all I do. Is I put people on base. I celebrate the singles. Too many times you guys get too serious and too concerned about trying to hit. I swing for the fences. Trust me. I'm swinging for the fences every single time, but I'm not letting the details overwhelm me. And I've learned, you know why I can recruit. Okay, picture this. Everybody thinks I'm so busy all the time. I can ride my bike all day if I want. I ride my bike all the time, by the way. I just love it. I listen to Holt and Bug stuff. I listen to motivational things. Yep, I'm watching my phone on here. It's blowing up. It's not magic, it's math. I'm using tools to do the heavy lifting. As soon as I launch somebody, guess what I did? I don't want them to have to know anything. I don't want them to know anything. You know why? I want them to see this presentation and go, oh, I'm going to use a sizzle call to introduce Larry to it or Lisa to it. And then I'm going to use I Decide. And then I'm going to go to record-breaking growth to get them all the details they want. And then I'm going to use a Zoom. And then I'm going to get them started. You know why it works for me so well? Is because I don't badger and beg people. The killer bees. I don't badger and beg people. I get them through the process quick. Say less to more people. I let the tools do the heavy lifting. How do I answer questions? Take a wild guess. This is all I do to answer questions. Is there a tool or resource that answers that question? Again, you know why? Because I don't want Lisa having to know anything. I want her to be able to use the exact same video. I think of a YouTube video that I have. If you don't want to use my YouTube videos, make one yourself. Take the time to watch some of mine. If you want to do it yourself, that's fine. Watch some of my videos, copy it, do exactly what I say, make your own YouTube video that when somebody asks, they can send it to them. People ask me, literally, they will ask me, how does PayApp work? Oh, that's not like giving a haircut over the phone. Guess what I say? Here's where the video is. Follow it. If somebody calls me back 5 minutes later and says, I still couldn't figure it out, I say, you didn't watch the video, and I'm not going to explain it to you. Because you have to get people to be resource and tool dependent in this business. This isn't about knowing stuff. I'm just showing you, okay? I'm showing you results. I've got 1,100, boomerangs ready to roll. Personally sponsored. And think about that, in a little over 100 days, 161 people. Do you think I can bring some advice to you that works? I've made all the mistakes. Trust me, I've made them all. And then typically, everything that I do has to do with a story. I think of a tool, I think of a resource, I think of a question, I think of a comment, and I figure out how to solidify it by using a story. Facts tell, stories sell. Facts tell, stories sell. So when I'm talking to somebody, people only remember stories. People only remember stories. They don't remember facts. Like and you have to, and what I do is I'm always thinking, how of the stuff that I'm sharing with somebody, how does that benefit them? Okay. Why, like I would say, hey, they ask me, well, how's the comp plan work? And as soon as what I do is I go find the comp plan video, the Edwin Haynes one, potentially, or I have the short one, but and I'm going to end up doing one as soon as I get the PDF when it comes out. But I'll say, hey, they got a comp plan question. Oh, great. How's the comp plan work? And then here's what I might say in a text. Lisa, this is what helped me. And I send them the video. Did I go into detail on it? Nope. Do I have to know anything? Nope. Here's why. This is so important. Is your business will slow down if you get smarter. It always cracks me up that as soon as somebody joins, typically they sponsor 2 or 3 people. If they know what they're doing, if they have no idea what they're doing, they sponsor the most people in the first 30 days. As soon as people get smart in this business and start learning more and more things, they get bogged down in the details and their business slows down. I stay as dumb as possible and I make lots of money. Okay. I'm smiling big right now. I know you can't see my face on here. I stay as dumb as possible and I make lots of money. Is there a tool or resource that answers that question? Who can I say less to more people? You know what else? Big one right here. I don't think I have it on any of the slides. I focus on only on what I can control, not what I can't control. Can't control whether somebody says yes or no. Can't control whether somebody's smart enough to activate an iBuumerang, a boomerang that I gave them. Can't control whether they're going to get in and do anything. Can't control if they're a stud or a dud. Can't predict the zeros from the heroes. Can't prejudge or pre-qualify anybody. Are you getting the point here? Okay. I ask myself a few things and I make noise as fast as possible. Recap. Take a screenshot. Sizzle call first base or first base. It gets them on first base. I decide second base or first base. You know how I'm talking. Record-breaking growth, 3-way or Zoom. Get them trained. Send them to the website. Send them to the website. That's all you got to do. Use the tools, people. Speaking of tools, making it easier for you to give out the chat bot. And understand everything that's on this page is basically, besides the Zoom calls, is in the chat bot right now. It's free. We set this up. Chad Wyatt set it up. Luckily, I understand exactly how it all works because I got one set up for the team. That's why you're on here. If you send somebody to boom.team, that's it. Okay, boom, BUUM.team, they go here. If they click on Messenger Chatbot on that button on their phone, this comes up. If they click on set up chatbot, this comes up. If they click continue, this comes up. You confirm your email, click, boom, and bang, you're set up. That's how quick you can set your team up. They set up their username, they go into their back office and get their iDecide URL. And we do have now a phone and voice text service, meaning that if you started the process, if somebody did not have Facebook Messenger, you can actually set up a voice system. That system's $9.95. So everything's free on here, by the way. But to have the one where you get your own designated phone number, that way if you wanted to advertise your own designated phone number, you could send them that and say, hey, click this. And literally it dials in, it gives them a prompt. And as soon as they hit the prompt, it sends them the information just like they would be on Facebook Messenger, and will direct them to Facebook Messenger. And if they don't even do that, you'll get notifications and so on. Are you guys getting some good information on this? Okay. Give me some hearts or whatever those things are, those emojis. I want to see some emojis coming through here, because I got some marching orders for you. Got some marching orders. You need to have 20 active boomerangs as quick as possible. You know why? You're not going to give up your monthly membership. It's not going to happen. You want to lock people in on your team, make sure they have 10 to 20 boomerangs active. Period. I'm not, if I had 20 boomerangs active, it is worth, that's it. It is still worth paying $99.95 every single month for the rest of my life. And oh, by the way, these customers, I guarantee you, are going to be worth more and more and more very shortly. They're going to roll stuff out at Vegas. I can promise you that. I mean, just whatever it might be. I mean, Holton's a machine. Activate 20 boomerangs. Want to see how to make six figures? Invite five people per day to take a look at what you're doing. Guess where you start? Sizzle call. Invite 5 people per day. I've only done this process basically for years and years and years. When I figured out how to be the messenger, not the message, saying less to more people, swing the bat as many times as I had to. Occasionally I get a hit. Every once in a while I hit one over the fence. And I learned to stay consistent by inviting a handful of people per day. Here's what you have to understand. If you do this business right, it creates freedom, not work. I hope you hear me on this. It creates freedom, not work. It creates freedom, not work. I mean, if I can invite 5 people per day, 5 days a week, that's, what's that? 5 times 5, 25. If I did that for a month, the law of 100 will take over. If I did 100, if I did 5 a day for 5 days a week for 1 month, that's 100 people I would have talked to. I can guarantee you would probably sponsor you sponsor maybe 10 people in that. If you just played baseball, you played the game, just like I showed you how to do it right here. If you watch this video over and over and over again and get it and let it sink in and understand what you have your hands on, put in the work. Talk to 5 people per day. The only reason I got 160 right now or 161 is I talk to more people than that. I'll do a Facebook Live, and I know people watch those Facebook Lives. I then take that Facebook Live and download that video and upload it to YouTube. And then I take a clip out of that and put it on Instagram. And then I take that same video and I upload it on my LinkedIn channel. So now I got, multiple things, multiple tools. I'm using the chat bot to send the invites. Piece of cake. There's nobody on here that shouldn't be. I can't remember if I got any more slides on here. I'm going to jump off there. We're going to go, where are we going here? I got to find this, and I'm going to go solo. I'm back. I'm going to take a drink. Holy smokes, I got a ton of people watching this. That's my new record. Here's what I'd tell you. Is if you go out there and do what I just showed you how to do, you'll hit sapphire like that. You'll hit sapphire like that. Do you realize to hit diamond, we're going to skip ruby, Do you realize to hit diamond, if you get 15 sapphires anywhere in your organization, I mean, it can't be in one leg, right? But if you have them scattered, 15 sapphires, 15 sapphires will actually make you a diamond. Do you have any, do you know the amount of money that a diamond can generate, can earn per year? It's just mind-boggling. It's just huge. Okay. So all that being said, did you guys learn some stuff today? Did you learn some stuff?